This is the first of our 3 badges, and it's looking at cybersecurity. So in this part of the badge, what we're looking at is cryptography, and in particular within cryptography, about how ciphers work. So a cipher is a way of taking a set of information and hiding it, putting it in a form that then needs to be deciphered. So the example used here is a very simple example, a substitution cipher. And the substitution cipher in question is a famous historical cipher known as the Caesar Cipher. And basically the way it works is every letter is replaced, substituted by another letter, and you apply an offset so that the letter is, for example, in this case, E. If there's an offset of 3, the E would then become a B, the F would become a C, the G would become a D, etc., etc. So it explains the concepts of how a cipher works and explains the background, and then it gives you an example which you can then try and crack the cipher. Okay, so in this case we've got an encoded message which doesn't make much sense, VHFUHW. It tells us, and this is useful information, that the offset is 3. So let's put 3 in. So it applies the offset, and then we need to look for each of the letters and see which that letter corresponds to. So in this case the first letter is V, so we look for V, and V corresponds to S. So let's type S in. The second letter is H, so we look for H. H is E, so we type E in. The third one is F, this corresponds to C, so we type C in. The fourth one is U, which corresponds to R, so we type R in. The fifth one is H again, which corresponds to E again. And the final one is W, which corresponds to T. Okay, having done this, we've got our guess at what the right answer might be, which is secret. So we then check our answer. The answer is correct. And then it gives us the opportunity to change the offset if we want, and put in a message that we want to encode. So we can then actually use it to encode further messages. So here's the second badge, a digital research badge. And what we're looking at here is using search tools to help you be more productive when you're looking online. So in this part of the badge we're looking at finding images, and the badge explains how you can search for images in different ways using the search tools. So this could be things to do with the size of the image, the colour of the image, what type of image, whether it's animated or clip art, for example, date ranges, and probably most importantly, whether the image is available for reuse, so whether you have legal permission to use it. It then provides you with an example. So here they're looking for virtual reality and green images. It might be because you need to use it for a marketing campaign or for something where other objects are green. Having shown you how to do it, it then asks you to do it yourself. So let's dive in and try and do this. So what it's asking you to do is find pictures of blue cheese, but without using the word blue. Okay, so I guess we're going to have to use the word cheese. Let's put that in. And then here we have the search tools. So we click on the search tools and we need to find images of blue cheese. So we search for blue. And hey presto, we end up with lots of images of blue cheese. So finally we're going to look at the colour badge. All of the badges on iDEA can be used on PCs, they can be used on tablets, they can be used on mobile devices. So you can really engage with the learning at any time, whether you're at home, travelling somewhere, or just have a few spare minutes. So the colour badge covers a whole range of concepts to do with how colour can be used, and gives you a depth of understanding of the building blocks that make up colour. So let's get stuck in. The first area within the badge is looking at colour manipulation, and in particular it looks at three fundamental areas that are used to define colours. So they're hue, saturation and lightness. And it introduces each of those to you and gives you an opportunity to engage with each of those to try and understand what they mean and how they work. So hue is the first of these, and as you can see, the hue has a significant impact on the actual colour. It changes the colour effectively. Okay, and you can look at where particular colours are on the hue spectrum. You can find out more about hue and different types of hue that may or may not get on with each other. And you can also, even if you wish to, have a bit of hue disco time. So it's fun, it's engaging, it gets you thinking about different concepts. Second areas we've touched on is saturation. So this is effectively to do with how strong the colour is. So is it an intense colour, is it more faded colour? Again, you can choose particular colours along the way. And finally, lightness is effectively from black to white, and shades along the way, and how that then affects the colour on the screen. There's also fun facts in there, such as it asks you whether the sun is actually yellow. I'll leave you to find out the answer to that one. And then, having introduced the concept, it gets you to test those and understand how we match colours. So in the first example, we've got a grey block here, and we're going to try and match it to the purple. So we need to think, how much hue and saturation do we need to get it exactly right? So we clearly need some colour, okay, and we also need some saturation. So we're getting very close now. There you go, we've done it. We've got the correct balance of saturation and hue to give us the colour we're looking for. So by doing this, you get an understanding of what combination of hue, saturation, and in the next example, lightness, allow you to match colours. So here you go, this one's a bit more tricky. We've got three different areas to cover: saturation, hue and lightness, and our block is black at the moment, and we want it to be a bit lighter. So let's get some lightness up so we can get something that we can see. Well, we've got something light, but it's still grey because we haven't got any colour. So let's get some colour in there, and let's get the strength of that colour up. Okay, so we've done that. We've gone a bit too green, so let's try and move that back down. So that's looking a bit better. And then a bit more lightness. And we move around until we get it right. And then at the end of this section, it tests your understanding. So which of these three indicators here is to do with hue, which one is to do with saturation, and which one is to do with lightness.
The University of Huddersfield, inspiring tomorrow's professionals.